we making any progress? Yeah.
Hi.
You can hear me, Miss Piotrowski?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And Mr. Reams, you can hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, and I have Mr. Petrowski here with me.
I note that. So this is case 15-3580 DM. Piotrowski versus Piotrowski. Both parties are present. Mr. Reams has filed an appearance on behalf of Mr. Piotrowski. This is a objection by the plaintiff father to an ex parte order, which I don't have in the file. I'm gathering it probably gave extended parenting time or something to mother. Is that what it says?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a police report included as well.
I'm just asking about the order, ma'am.
Okay.
I understand there's a police report. I've seen some of that and all that. And I've heard a whole list of things that Mr. Piotrowski says that you're an awful parent and doing all this stuff and potentially pimping out your daughter and all that kind of stuff. Mr. Reams, you can address that, but unless you have some kind of proof on that kind of stuff, I'm not gonna listen to very much of it. You have a proof? Do you have proof the mom's a porn star?
Your Honor, that is an historical allegation by Mr. Petrowski in that she previously did sell videos of herself online. He is unaware of whether she does that currently.
I suggest that he has some basis for it, because I don't even know when she supposedly did this. And does.
Understood, Your Honor. And from Mr. Petrowski's perspective, that isn't really, as I evaluate this thing, isn't the primary reason why he is concerned about a change of custody, which is what has been effectuated in effect.
We cannot make a change of custody, and quite frankly, I understand, and I'm not going to go against Judge Hillary to a certain extent. And we're getting into some real difficult areas because I believe Serena is going to be 16 very soon. And I'm going to be dealing with a 16-year-old girl. But quite frankly, the police report, as I remember it from seeing it, she ran off into the woods and doesn't really remember what happened. And he said he might have hit her, but it was accidentally, but he didn't. I mean, that doesn't go anywhere. Neither of those stories goes anywhere with me. Mr. Reams, what would you like to say about your motion briefly?
Your Honor, Mr. Petrowski filed this objection prior to retaining me. When I asked him about the events that transpired that are listed in the police report, he tells me that his daughter began having issues after he made the decision to allow Mr. Petrowski to have a bit more parenting time than is allowed under the order from 2/27/18, which is non-overnight time for a few hours on the weekends. Once he allowed that a few months ago, their daughter began having all kinds of emotional issues and all kinds of problems in his home. On the day in question here, that was the basis for the request for the ex parte order, he sought to retrieve Serena from Ms. Petrowski's home. She finally got into the car, began kicking the dashboard and slamming her head into the headrest. And then while they were moving in the vehicle, tried to open
Is the child there with you? Is she there with you?
Serena is at a track meet. They had
Right, I
to.
just ask you if she was there with you. You don't have to give me anything. I just ask you if she's there.
She's not here right now because she had to
Thank
go
you.
to.
Go ahead, Mr. Reams. Sorry to interrupt.
So as the child is trying to exit the moving vehicle, Mr. Petrowski reaches over to close the door, and he admittedly caught her with his thumb. There's no question about it. He didn't slap her. He didn't do anything like that.
Ma'am, you can quit with the histrionics, okay? You can quit with, because I can see you doing all this. You're going to have your chance, but you don't have to make all the faces. Go ahead.
And that's exactly what's in the police report, right? And that's exactly why the Kent County Prosecutor's Office didn't issue a warrant here. And if the court recalls, law enforcement, at least historically, is very familiar with this family. I would note for the court the extensive proceedings that resulted in the 2018 order, where Ms. Petrowski was engaged in the craziest conduct I can recall in my 26-year career. Where we are now is Mr. Petrowski has been providing sole and exclusive care for these children since 2017, when the court entered its ex parte order. Ms. Petrowski doesn't even pay child support. And when Mr. Petrowski begins to allow a bit more parenting time, the police start showing up at his house. On one occasion, the police showed up because the daughter had called them because she didn't want to mow the lawn. None of these things happen until Mr. Petrowski begins allowing Ms. Petrowski to see the child more than is allowed under the order.
So what's the relief you're seeking?
Your Honor, the ex parte order should be vacated. There isn't a basis for it. There are no criminal charges. There is no Child Protective Services investigation. There is nothing other than Ms. Petrowski inflaming this child because it serves her own interests. As the court recalls, Ms. Petrowski can't tell the truth if it's sitting right in front of her.
That's enough, Mr. Raines.
The
If you wanna tell me more, but stop with she can't tell the truth and stuff. If you
No,
want,
I'm simply pointing out that we ran a very long evidence.
I do believe that I was the one who ran that hearing, and
You did, and I'm simply pointing out that he
don't.
has zero credibility.
I understand. I ran the hearing. Ms. Piotrowski, what's your take on this?
Well, I do have texts from Serena and on here, like showing where he chucks her on the ground at home. He hits her with bags of stuff. She constantly calls his mom crying because he will go and he'll shove her. One time he had taken all the trash he made her pick up. He dumped it all over and he told her to pick it up and he shoved her and pushed her like really hard. And
You there?
She was
You
calling me.
there?
No, but I could hear it.
You can hear it.
I could hear part of it because she called me and let me so I could hear her. But
And when was that? When was that? Just tell me the date.
it was about 3 months ago. And Mike has called her track coach screaming and yelling at her because he doesn't read his emails and didn't know that which I was aware because I was told and I read the emails and I'm involved with the school and her track. He called her screaming because he didn't know that she was running during a track meet in Rockford. And he's telling Serena that I'm a prostitute and all these different things. And I have never in my life prostituted or been a porn star. And this is why he has no proof whatsoever. But Mike is scaring her. I mean, if you read the text that I have, he will start spitting in her face. He's poured dish soap over her face. These kids have been coming over and staying the night for 2 years, actually, on the weekends. And whenever Mike is harvesting all of his marijuana, which he grows right underneath the kids, and smokes marijuana right under their bedrooms. I mean, they go to school and there's been numerous complaints about them smelling like marijuana. I go to their doctor visits with them. I mean, for them to be saying all this stuff, I mean, I have proof, I mean, from her text. And if you would like to talk to her, that's fine. But
What I think I'm gonna do is appoint a guardian ad litem and you can each come up with $2,000 as a retainer for that guardian ad litem. I'm gonna have the guardian ad litem look into everything.
Can I say one thing? I do have a motion I filed consecutively with this for a change of custody. And that is August 11th. So I'm just
Sure,
asking.
that'll be in front of me and I'll look at it at that time, but you have to have proper cause to change circumstances. I cannot change custody on a Friday morning. I'll look at it and see whether we set up an evidentiary hearing. In the meantime, I think each of you will come up with a $2,000 retainer for a guardian ad litem that I'm
Yeah.
going to, and it's gonna be paid promptly. And I'm going to have it go, I've got a couple, I gotta contact a couple of them to make sure. It might be Michael Dunn, it might be Katie Olin. I'm gonna check on a couple people to see if they will do that. They will do an investigation with your daughter and you and Mr. Pietrowski. They'll give me a some kind of a report. Mr. Reams, I'm not addressing you because I know you know what I'm talking about on this. And they will get to it relatively soon. That's why I'm gonna contact a couple GALs, and that's why you're both gonna be responsible to pay a retainer promptly within 7 days to them, so that they can get, and I can get to the bottom of it. As soon as I get some kind of report, I will set up an evidentiary hearing and we will get to the bottom of it. What, ma'am?
Can we please keep the extended visitation in place? My daughter is like terrified. I mean, to go back to his house. He has threatened to, if you can even ask her, he has threatened to kill her if she ever called the police. And if he went to jail, he would get out and he would kill her. And I'm not lying. She has said this and she said it to her cousins, other family members. I mean, there's a lot
And
of
I
stuff.
have no worry that he's gonna kill your daughter. I don't believe 1 minute he's going to kill his own daughter.
She is going to be very upset if she has to go back to that house with him right now while
I have to come up with something here, and I'm not gonna make her go back full time. I'm gonna suggest that we do something, Mr. Reams. I'm not gonna send her back there full time right now until I get, and that's why I want the report really quickly, okay? I think the party should basically, she should go there, especially during the summer here. There's no reason that she can't go switch every 2 days or something like that for the time being. I'm not gonna leave her exclusively with you because there is no reason to. And she can learn that, and if Mr. Pietrowski does something, we'll find out through the guardian ad litem, and it won't go good for him. And I know it won't go good for him. If I find out that this is junk, it won't go good for you, ma'am. I'm gonna suggest that that you split the time with her at this point, and I'm looking for a suggestion as to how. Do you want to do day on, day off? Because I hope to do it between now and the start of school. 1 day with mom, 1 day with dad, or do you want to do 2 days with mom, 2 days with dad, just for right now?
One day, I guess, because she does not want to go back there right
Well,
now.
she doesn't get a chance to run all of this, okay? She doesn't get a chance. She's
Okay.
still a minor, and you're the parent and he's the parent, and you're gonna make them go. If she comes home and says, I hate school because somebody there's a bully, do you let her stay home from school and don't go to school anymore?
No, but they're not getting
Then
physical.
that's the same thing.
They're not physically assaulting her, or no, I probably would talk to the office and they.
And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Pietrowski is not going to physically assault her. Obviously, Mr. Reams will be telling him if he physically assaults her, he's gonna lose, okay?
Do you,
Your Honor, I would suggest 2 days on, 2 days off.
Yeah, how far do they live from each other?
About 3 miles.
All right. It doesn't matter. 2 days on, 2 days off, or 1 day on, 1 day off. It really doesn't matter. Why don't they just exchange every day for right now? All right,
What time, Your Honor?
well, what time works out for everybody? 6 o'clock at night?
6 p.m. to 6 p.m., fine.
Then that way she doesn't have to spend too much time with either parent. They'll always be with the other parent. Make sure Mr. Pietrowski does not kill her. And Mr. Pietrowski, if you are physically or assaultive to her, won't go good. Ma'am, if I find out that you're putting this stuff in this girl's mind, it's not gonna go good for you. I will be in touch promptly with Mr. Reams, because that's who I have to contact, regarding who the guardian ad litem will be. He will draft in an order, the name of the guardian ad litem, and the fact that you will have 7 days to pay a $2,000 retainer each to that, and get on with this. You need to have, the guardian ad litem needs to have full access to the child and to each of you to try and figure this out. The guardian ad litem will have to come up with a report quite soon. If that report, we'll see what the report is like, and I will probably set up a quick evidentiary hearing about that report.
So I'll be drafting, Your Honor. What I have in my notes is GAL 4K retainer fee, 2K each within 7 days. The court will give me notice of who the person is, so I can include it in the order. That person's going to conduct an investigation. They need to have full access to the minor child. Parenting time going forward is day on, day off, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Shall I include that neither party is to discuss the case with the child?
Yeah, that won't do any good, but yes. Yeah,
And shall I include that neither is to physically discipline the child?
yes.
All right, I will draft, Your Honor. And may I ask that the exchange be today at 6?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow.
My court order, ma'am. What other questions do you have?
Can I say one more thing? Just because you don't have the police report in
I do
your,
have a police report.
okay, do you have the one where she was messaging me when he had hit her? She had a swollen eye for a week.
And I just made my ruling.
Okay, I just hope he doesn't chuck her on there. She's really, really tiny. She has tiny bones. I hope you don't go chucking her on the ground like he has been.
Ma'am,
Physical.
I made my order. I've told him there's no physical discipline by either party.
What about the mental, the screaming and raging on her?
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Your Honor.
She's gonna be so upset.
Right, this is case 20-7820-DS Austin v. Bursley. Both parties are present via Zoom. This is a renotice regarding Remington by father regarding parenting time. Sir, I know I probably told you could renotice it. I wish you would have given me something more than just a renotice, because I don't know how anything's going or what more you want. What I understand you get parenting time Saturday 2 o'clock to Sunday at 6 p.m. on alternate weekends. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your request for renotice?
I would like to extend it to Friday evenings as well, and then hopefully alternating holidays. Go to kind of more a traditional parenting time
Yeah.
schedule.
Ma'am, how's the parenting time been going? You guys kind of got to get to regular parenting time schedule unless there's something really going bad.
It's been going fine. I'm fine with the Friday nights at 6 p.m. until Sunday nights at 6 p.m. That's
Right.
fine. But the holidays, I would like to just stick to us trying to figure out holidays, because I have other children that live with in other households also, and we'd like all of our children. We have 11 children.
Well,
So we'd like to try to have all 11 children around the same holidays. My thoughts were is that there is a parenting time app where you can't change anything or anything like that. If my husband downloads it, he downloads it, and they communicate through that so that it's not a he said,
he's
she
got to
said.
communicate with you,
Wait,
not your husband.
I cannot communicate with him. There is a no contact order between me and Mr. Bursley because of things that happened in the past. I cannot communicate
Is
with
there a
him.
PPO
Yes, there is.
still in place?
Yep.
For how long?
Indefinitely. He held a gun to me.
Well,
There was a whole court
indefinitely,
case
there's,
for
I
it.
don't know that there's forever. All right, we'll do it to begin with Friday to Sunday, 6 to 6, okay?
Okay.
Right, as far as holidays, we gotta work on something, because ma'am, I can't prohibit him from having holidays because you got 11 kids, okay? He's gonna get a chance to see his child, and I don't care if you guys want to try and figure something out. That's fine, but you can't talk to figure anything out. So I'm either gonna give him alternate holidays, or you're gonna have to try and figure out a way that, like, I'm just gonna use an example. Maybe Christmas, maybe you got all 11 kids over on Christmas Eve, so he could have Christmas Day, or vice versa, or something like that. It's gotta happen,
Right.
all right?
Yes.
So either
that's
I'm
what we
gonna
did
set that
last year.
time, or the two of you are gonna figure it out. Mr. Bursley, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say.
I would prefer it to be whatever you order it as. Just that way there's no discrepancies on the, like Miss Austin said, the he said, she said type stuff.
Miss
And,
Austin, when do you get your kids? For what holidays and when?
We discuss it with their other parents.
Well, then you can set it up. If I give him every other holiday, you can discuss it with the parents and make sure that you get it on that other holiday.
We don't do it through the court system with the other parents. We do it through
Okay.
text message and stuff like that. That's why I'm asking for my husband to download this one parenting app and for Mr. Bursley to download this one parenting app so that they can communicate. It's not that my husband doesn't tell me what they talk about or whatever, because there's been times where he's had to text and say, hey, I'm running a few minutes late. And Mr. Bursley's been like, okay, that's fine. I just like it to be that way through the parenting app. There's no he says, she said situation or anything like
Parenting app
that.
are you talking about?
It is called
Our Family Wizard or what?
Talking Parents.
Well, here's what I think is reasonable at this time, okay? Friday to Sunday, 6 to 6. I believe he should also have at least 2 weeks of uninterrupted time in the summer that includes his weekend, so he doesn't get more than his weekend. In other words, he get 1 weekend or 1 week in June, 1 weekend in July, or something like that. They're non-consecutive. That would be normal parenting time. You should also split spring breaks. All right. And when I say split them, I think you should have 1 year and he should have 1 year. All right. You should split the winter break, meaning one person has the first half and one person has the second half. And you should work out Christmas within that, because I can't guarantee that it's exactly a week within that. And I guess what I would be inclined to do is to present him with holidays, and bear me out until I get to the end of it. From probably 9 in the morning till 9. He's going to get every Father's Day. You're going to get every Mother's Day. We list some holidays like Labor Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas. Those are usually the number one things that I give, and you can split them, meaning he will have one of them from 9 till 9, and you'll have the next one. That'll be your holiday. That's what it should be. Now that the question will be whether it will be for you, ma'am, to contact Mr. Bursley and see and I'm asking you, Mr. Bursley, to think about it some too, okay? If they say they have a bunch of family coming in on Memorial Day and it's your Memorial Day, and they say, how about you take 4th of July instead? I would hope that you're going to sit there and be all right with it. All right. But it will be a court order every other. And at some time, the two of you do have to be the parents to Remington. And I understand, ma'am, I'm not trying to discount anything that happened in the past, okay? But you also are always going to be the parents of Remington, regardless of what happened in the past. And if Mr. Bursley does anything, he's been penalized. I made sure he was penalized to begin with. He didn't get just regular time to begin with because of things that he had done. Now it's time to move on and get this done. So I think what I'm going to do is enter that order that I said. But Mr. Bursley, if she has real problems, then she has to come in and make a motion and say it's his holiday, but we have all 11 kids coming in that day and we'll offer him the next holiday instead. I'm probably going to grant it, and I'm not going to be too pleased with you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what I'm saying, ma'am?
Yes and no, because for Mother's Day, I know for a fact that his mom would probably like to see Remington on Mother's Day, Grandmother's Day, whatever, it's the female holiday. My husband would like to see Remington on Father's Day because that is her father figure also. That's why I'm not asking.
It's not her father, and it's not her mother. The grandmother is not.
Except,
The two of you can work
except for
things
that.
out. But I'm never gonna be able to set an order that says, gee, we're gonna have to work this thing out, because it never will get worked out. So that's the order that I'm gonna put in. You are free to contact each other and be reasonable. And if you're not reasonable, then it just isn't, it's gonna be that bad, but.
Except for that we cannot communicate with each other per the PPO.
I don't care. Then have your husband do it. You can your husband can do the communication. I don't care. You can talk to him. You can sit right next to him and communicate, and he'll call back. There is no way to just leave this out in the open and just say, my husband will tell him when we need the kids, and he gets the kids on the other time. He gets
except for that's how it's been. That's how it was for Christmas, because before we had Christmas last year, we were in front of you and we sat here and said, okay, it's supposed to be his weekend, but you also need her for Christmas. So why don't we do this? And we made up another thing instead of actually having it as to his weekend. We split that weekend. We did it right here. Bryce and I talked through
fine.
Right here we are now. That's why I'm asking for us to just continue it that way.
But if you don't
So that
have
we both
agreement,
get
then
we
what
want.
happens? What happens if you don't agree to it?
That's why I'm asking to talk through the app.
And if you talk
Because
through
then
the app and you
there's
don't
no-
agree to it, then what happens if
there's
you
no
talk through the app
deletion.
and you don't agree to it?
Through the app, there's no message deletion. All of the telephone calls are
understand.
recorded.
You're telling me that you're going to necessarily reach an agreement, and I'm not saying it is. You can reach an agreement on anything you want here, okay? You can reach an agreement on Christmas that's different than what the court order is, and you can put it in the app. I'll order whatever that app is to be downloaded and used. What's the name of the app?
It's called Talking Parents.
The parties will use Talking Parents for communication. All right, and you guys can still talk about it. But I can't leave an order that just says, everybody will kind of decide, because if you don't agree to it, then what happens? Ma'am, what happens if you don't agree?
You continue talking about it as adults.
Okay.
We
But
talked
you
about it
talk
as
to
adults.
you talk to it right through
2022.
Memorial Day. Talking does not, I can't force an agreement. So I'll enter that order and send it out. Mr. Bursley, you understand that I do expect the two parents will communicate and will be reasonable with each other, even if it's through him, because you can't have any contact. Although I'm pretty sure that if I issued an order that said the two of you could have contact through the talking app, that the personal protection order could be modified to that, but I'm not going to do that at this time. Download the Talking Parents app, sir, and you guys can start working through that. I'll send through the order. And the only way that this will ever work in the long term is if the two of you do work some together. I'm assuming, Mr. Bursley, that you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir, I do.
Ms. Horton, you can continue to work with him, and hopefully it'll work out. Okay?
Your Honor, when will this go into effect? This is my off weekend coming up, or this weekend that we have right now is my off weekend. So would this go into effect on my next weekend that I would have Remington, or would
It should.
Okay.
Do you have a problem with it starting the next weekend, ma'am?
We do have something planned already as a family on Friday, because I didn't know when.
All right.
Normally
then
you
we will do
give
it.
at least 2 weeks.
All right, we'll do it.
Normally you give at least 2 weeks.
We'll do it the following one, sir, because she didn't know it was gonna happen today, so. Next weekend, you can still do Saturday to Sunday, and then 2 weeks later, everything will be in place. All right?
Okay.
Good luck,
Okay.
everyone. Thank you. We're adjourned. Here in, case 16-2720 DM, Jangda versus Jangda. Both parties are present via Zoom, as well as Miss Van Dyken, who is representing the defendant, Miss Jangda. There's two motions filed by the father. The first one about child support, second about parenting time. I've read everybody's statements. Sir, you want to add anything to yours before I say some stuff?
Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes.
No, I have the documentation and the proof. When I went to the Legal Assistance Center, they told me to file the motions, then add that.
You
So
mean
I
you
do
have the
have,
documentation and proof? Do you have documentation that she makes 150,000 to 250,000 a year?
I didn't say that. What she's
Yes,
told
you put
me,
in here that she's able to make 150 to 200,000 a year. That's what you put in here.
I said what she told me she's capable of making per week, and that does fluctuate, but she showed me the cash, and I've talked to her clients who say she enforces and encourages them to pay her cash, and she does not claim any of it. And I have proof through text that she has told me, I have 3 right here that say, why are you trying to put me in prison? Why are you going to do this to me? We need,
I got plenty of texts too that are inappropriate from you.
right.
I'm going
I
to
admit
start
that.
out, I'm going to tell you this right here and now. You stated in here, Carrie has a client and friend who is a referee for the FOC. His name is
Yes.
Peter Coulis Dominguez,
Yes,
and she threatens that he will not only have impact on the filing, but has had conversations with your honor's referee, me, and staff.
she threatens that. I don't know.
No.
if Peter's
That's
done
what you
that.
said in here, but she has had conversations with your honor's referee and staff. It
Yes,
has never happened, and it's a bald-faced lie that you put in here. Bald-faced lie. It has never happened. Haven't discussed anything with Peter Coulis, and I don't know anything about it. And you put this in here. I'm leaving it in here so that when you try to go to the State Bar Association, I'm going to testify that that is garbage and that you just put it in filings. All I get in here is a bunch of stuff about her all over the place, calling her every name in the book and telling me how many abortions she's had and what a horrible person she is and everything like that, with not one shred of evidence. I have not one thing about her drinking. You call her a horrible alcoholic. Her parents are alcoholics, all of this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Not one shred of evidence. Not
Well-
one shred of evidence that she underreports $25,000 to $30,000.
I can go under oath and report all of that.
I don't
she's
care whether you
reported
go
to me.
under oath. Show me some evidence of it.
I'm going to subpoena clients, subpoena records, and show proof.
Live it up.
That-
But
That's the
I'm not
next,
going to grant your motion based on this, that I have nothing. Nothing. You just make allegations, and your allegations, such as the ones about me and referee Coulis Dominguez, I know are lies. So that therefore, I am just telling you that until I see something of any credibility,
sure.
there's nothing that I'm going to change.
Mr. Frederick, I'll read you the text that she said, that she is telling me that she is going to Peter, who is now the judge, and he is going to have impact on our case. That's just what she's telling me. Peter, he has not told me anything. I apologize for that. I'm not
And
saying
you
it
put in
happened.
there that he and I had talked, and we didn't.
No, I didn't say he talked. I said she's threatening to have him speak to you, or threatening to have
Will
this
not
case
only have
impacted.
impact on the fine, but has had conversations with your honors referee and staff.
That's what she's
you
threatening.
put in there. All right, that's what you put in there. Show something directly to me where she has said that.
See, this is what she said. Her exact words.
You're gonna have to send them through Miss Van Dyken.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna take your word for anything at this.
Yeah, no, I
It's
understand.
garbage.
I understand. Well, I apologize for miswording that. I'm just saying with the stuff that's been told to me. That's
I
all
can't
I'm going
imagine
with.
that she talks to you very much at all, because it doesn't, when I see this stuff, it doesn't appear that you guys get along very well and that she has much, I mean, you call her every name that's in the book. You tell me what a horrible person is. She's a
It's
horrible
reciprocated.
alcoholic,
I have
and she does
thousands
all
of
this
texts
kind
too
of
saying
stuff.
the same things, and
What?
I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying I'm proud of the dialogue. I'm not saying, like, I'm here to do what's best for our youngest daughter. I want things shared. Things are not equal. Things are completely on her schedule. I just want things to be
What is
fair.
not equal?
The timing isn't consistent. We've never followed the JOD. There's time whenever it's convenient, even this week. My daughter, I'm supposed to get her at 3. She was dropped off here at 10 o'clock by my other daughter in the morning. I'm supposed to get her at 3 p.m. That's a daily occurrence.
All right,
The times are never followed.
Miss Van Dyken, can you make sure that now she follows the order and does not give him any extra time?
No,
Absolutely,
What-
Hunter.
I
There's-
want the extra time. I just want it consistent because I have a
I'm
job
just
too.
telling you, you can't have both bites of the apple.
No, what I'm
Either
saying
it
is I
does
have
or
a,
it doesn't.
I have a job as well, and I'm trying to have a schedule. I'm trying to
It-
make
It will be
fair.
as according to the judgment of divorce.
Okay, and it's put on our other kids where they call me at work and say, hey, I have Kinsley. What is going on today? And they're confused and they're frustrated. And I text her every morning or call her and she doesn't respond.
That's gonna have to end too, is texting and calling everybody. From now on, you are going to communicate only through our family wizard.
That's perfect. That works fine.
Your Honor, for clarification, they don't file the judgment of divorce because in June last year, 22 of 22, there was a amendment to the parenting time. So that's what they should be following.
All right,
And that's not being followed either. The amendment,
it
Stacy's
will
right.
be
It's
from
what
here
it's-
on.
And I just feel the best thing for our kids is to have that flexibility and have that openness, but it's got to be done.
But
And
then
I'm
you
asking
come in
just
and
for,
complain about the flexibility.
no, what I'm complaining about is that it's not consistent. Like, I don't know, she won't communicate with me and say, hey, this is what time I'm dropping her off. This is what time I'm
You can't
picking her
have
up.
flexibility and consistency at the same time. Take your hat off, you're in court.
It's communication. I just want better, healthy communication.
We're only going to communicate through our family wizard from now on, and it's strictly about the children. Nothing like I see in some of the things that I see here about, I mean, I'll pull them up, you know, about how many kids have you had and all this kind of stuff, and F you and your lies. You did nothing but effing cheat on me and choose the bar. That has nothing to do with anything. The shit you tell my kids is fucking sick, your dad's text, all these things will stop because we're going to do it through our family wizard. Any of those that show up, I'm going to start looking at changing parenting time away from you. We can follow the current court orders with any amendments that are there, and that's the way it will be. If the two of you decide you want to change something, put it in writing, put it through our family wizard. Otherwise, you follow exactly what's in there. And I'm not doing anything regarding child support at this point because I have nothing to indicate that she has lied, other than you saying it.
I have people that'll testify for it too, that she's telling them the same thing. She hides money in cash. She gives it to her father. I'll subpoena and get all those records. I just didn't know if I could yet.
Yeah,
I thought I had to go through you first to get authorization to do that next.
you would have to, I'd have to have proper cause or change of circumstance of some sort to order a modification of child support or to even look at it. I quite frankly don't believe what you say in these pleadings because they're outrageous when you're telling me she can earn $1,000 a day, which makes her earning, $250,000 a year.
She absolutely can. I've
No
seen it.
haircutter who makes that kind of money, not even.
She's a stylist. She can do a cut
I
and
know
color.
of
and make
no
it-
stylist who comes even close to it. I live as a human being in this community and have for 70 years, and there is none that I know of. If she worked in California as a movie star worker, maybe she would, but nobody in Grand Rapids makes that kind of money when she also has to rent a place to actually do it, as I understand it, or however you do that, you have to rent.
No, her friend owns a place and she cleans and gets it almost for free.
Oh,
She's not paying
yeah.
barely any kind of rental fees.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure.
She's shown me the cash. I've seen it. She'd come home and brag. And she told me the other day,
Well,
thanks for paying.
wasn't there an order entered not too long ago on child support, Miss Van Dyken?
Same time frame, Your Honor.
Yeah,
June of
why didn't
2022.
all this come up then?
It did come up then, but we agreed because I just wanted more time with my daughter. That's all I wanted. And
It all
she
came
claimed
up
she
and
needed
you-
more
and
money.
you agreed to it, so it's the way you live. And the order as of the last June will continue at this time. Anything else?
So can I enter all this data and all this documentation to Ms. Van Dyken just to show that this
Sure.
isn't just frivolous.
You can
This is
show
and the
anything.
things that are
Ms.
being
Van
said about
Dyken.
me in my past.
If you-
I was in prison almost 25 years ago, and since then, I've gone to the University of Michigan, Grand Valley State University, and Western Michigan University, and I work with kids every day who are underprivileged and underserved. That's what I do every day. Is I work with at-risk kids, and I work in our community with Judge Gardner, with other people within the Rockford community now to work with kids and their mental health and their families.
What does that have to do with this?
I'm just talking about what was stated in this document, this rebuttal from Ms. Van Dyken, that about my history and how frivolous this is. This isn't just out of nowhere. my priority are my children. I live every day for them. I have not touched a drug or alcohol in over 20 years, and I'm not making this stuff up. And if whatever I got to prove, I'll prove it. I have no problem doing that. This isn't
We had a
any-
chance to prove it a year ago and nothing was proven.
but I'm also being threatened about my past, and I just want time with my daughter, and I don't have the resources she has because I don't have parents and I don't have people just giving me money and have money. I pay taxes. I pay the kids'
So I-
insurance. I have the
I don't
W-2.
listen to people who tell me that I had communication with somebody that I didn't about it.
I'm just saying what she told me. She told me that Peter Koulis was communicating with you and impacting our
Send
judgment. I
that to
have it
Ms.
in
Van
text.
Dyken. Send those words to
I
Ms.
will send it to Ms. Van, and I sent it to Carrie this morning already. She keeps saying that Peter is the judge and that it's going to be
He's not a judge and
impactful.
he's not a judge on your case.
I know. I didn't know. I am not
Well, I'm
familiar
telling
with.
you, and you should look into stuff.
I have asked, and Ann Lewis told me, yes, he's not on your case. She explained the process to me. I'm just stating what was told to me.
All
And
right.
I apologize if that was
I'm
misread.
denying both of your motions. You can renotice if you actually have something of substance, because I find nothing of substance in your motions at this time to look at any child support. Was there a deviation in child support?
No,
All right. Well, if you can prove something,
Yeah,
that'd be different. But I'm not
just-
gonna go on your word saying that she's an alcoholic who has mothered all these kids and has abortions and.
Your Honor,
and
the last,
mother and
since
father
January of this
and all
year,
that
she's,
kind of stuff. Don't
she's kept-
interrupt me.
sorry.
Done with this, okay? I'm
Right.
bothered by the fact that you just throw a whole bunch of dirt at the wall and prove nothing.
I thought this was the first step, and the second would be the actual hearing where we present the.
No, you got to present a probable cause, at least by a preponderance of the evidence, that there is proper cause or change of circumstance. There is no preponderance of the evidence, the proper cause or change of circumstances. There's just you claiming that she's an awful human being.
Oh, I'm claiming that she's.
Your Honor, I'll do
in
both
the report.
orders and the order for our family wizard.
Our family wizard, you'll be using that from here on out, sir. Get the app and use it. Thank you.
That's fine. That works. That's great.
We're
I have
adjourned.
I have just as many texts with just as much horrible dialogue in it from her. I didn't know that you wanted it presented today. I thought we would go
All right.
in front of the Honorable Patrick Hillary. And
You've
I
got to have some
Okay, now I
actual
know.
basis. Thank you.
I apologize.
We're adjourned.
I apologize. I did not know.
We're adjourned.